Saquon Barkley saved his career by leaving the Giants. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and when they say the New York Giants stink, one of the ways they could show you, besides looking at their record, is they could point to Hard Knocks. Because watching the Giants do what they did yesterday, letting Saquon Barkley out the door the way they did, was absolutely 100,000% fantastic. It finally happened. In Hard Knocks Episode 3, Saquon Barkley goes to Philly. And what a beautiful thing it was. And, you know, I got to tell you, there was so much talk about, the Giants offered Saquon Barkley a contract, and Saquon Barkley's going to turn it down. They almost made it sound like that the Giants were matching the Eagles' contract, but in reality, it wasn't the case at all. The Giants never really offered him a contract. It was interesting because GM Joe Schoen, is it Joe Schoen, Sean Schoen, whatever you call him, whatever he sticks. But, you know, he was getting mad at Saquon Barkley's agent because before free agents, before the negotiating period with other teams started, he kind of called them up and they were talking, and he wanted to know what they basically were looking for. And it was like 12 and a half, 25 million guaranteed, something like that. And, you know, he wanted basically to say, okay, that's what Barkley's asking for. If we commit to paying that, will Barkley resign with the Giants? And the agent was like, no, because he wanted to test the market. He knew that there were going to be other offers coming in, and so Schoen looked a little bit upset about that. And then, you know, they got into the whole thing where Mara was in there, and he was talking to Schoen. And the best part of the whole thing is when he says, you know, he basically isn't going to be able to sleep if Barkley goes to the Eagles. Pound Giants owner John Mara on Saquon Barkley potentially getting interest from the Eagles and the Bears. Quote, I'll have a tough time sleeping if Saquon Barkley goes to Philadelphia. I'll tell you that. He's the most popular player by far. And he was the most popular player by far. No doubt about it. But, you know, it is what it is. And then during, you know, free agency period, when it was clear that the Giants weren't going to sign Saquon Barkley, Schoen was trying to figure out if he was going to go to basically the Eagles and if he was going to go into the division. Ari Meroff said this: the Pound Giants never made a final offer to Saquon Barkley after finding out he was out of their price range. GM Joe Schoen talking to the agent, quote, we're out. And then, is it in the division? I'm trying to prepare myself mentally. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Sorry, I gotta move my computer here. But it was. And, you know, I really don't think the Giants front office looked good in this whole thing. I will say this about Mara. I think Mara wanted to keep, my impression was he wanted to keep Barkley. He was looking, and they kind of threw out hints like, I'm not gonna sleep well if Barkley's in Philly. Like, I think he was trying to give hints to his GM. Yeah, try to get him back. But he didn't want to interrupt what the GM was trying to do. So I think Mara wanted him back, but I don't think Joe Schoen wanted him all. I think he wanted him gone. To be honest with you, he wanted to free up that money in which they got. And I don't even remember them getting Runyon. I forgot that they got Runyon. But I mean, you know, the Giants wanted to spend their money elsewhere. I'll say this about the Giants team. I think that is a very, very good defensive line. Obviously, they, you know, with Thibodeau, Lawrence, and then Burns. That's going to be a formidable pass rush. There's no question about it. But offensively, they stink. And they let their best player go. So it was a beautiful thing watching Barkley go to Philly. And I enjoyed every second of that. So that kind of concludes Hard Knocks, because I could care less what happens to the Giants the rest of the way. But Saquon Barkley is an Eagle, And yeah, I think that's going to be one of the big things the Giants are going to regret for a long time. They went out and got Singletary, which is like, but they didn't want to spend the money on running back, and I kind of get it. Like, you're to have a running back like Barkley, you want to be close to winning, and if you're not even close, then what's the point? You're just wasting money. So who the hell knows? So a couple other Eagle things I want to talk about real quick. I guess we'll talk about Jason Kelce first of all. It was interesting. Lane Johnson went on a podcast, Up and Adams, right? The Up and Adams show, and he was talking about Jason Kelce, and this was Lane Johnson, and he was talking about how often Jason Kelce has been in that building, the NovaCare. He's there, then some of the players are there, okay? And he actually still has his locker. Now, I'm not about to make the case that he's coming back or making a comeback in terms of a player, but you have to wonder if coaching is right around the corner from him. Lane Johnson said recently retired at Jason Kelce is still very much around the Pound Eagles facility. He was in the building maybe more than a lot of players this offseason. And then Kay Adams said that he also said Jason Kelce having a locker room. He still has a locker room, but it's not with the players. It's with the coaches. They moved Jason Kelce's locker room to the coach's locker room. So maybe potentially down the road, Jason Kelce is going to be a coach on his team. I truly believe in some capacity, Jason Kelce will come back to the Eagles in the front office or as a coach or something. His days are definitely not over being part of this Eagles franchise or working for them. Obviously, he's going to go into the Ring of Fame and all that stuff, but it was interesting, and there's no way I think Kelce could even come back if he wanted to. The dude's lost like 25 pounds. Man, I need to get on the Jason Kelce diet. He's killing it right now. I'm only 5.3 pounds lighter, and I got to hurry my ass up. But he's killing it. So Kelce, he's thinning out. He's not going to come back, but maybe as a coach one day, it's something that could definitely happen. And speaking of happening, I was thinking about this today. Howie Roseman has set up pretty much everything perfect. You're going into camp next week. You're going to start camp. And yeah, there are still questions about the Eagles. There's still certain spots that we could look to improve. There's still possible trades to be made. But the great thing about Howie and what he's done is he basically has said, you know what? I don't need to rush anything. I don't need to rush anything at all because you know why? I have enough talent on this team that I can go into camp, I can go into preseason, and I can figure out where I need to improve. So let's say you go into training camp and you get into preseason, and let's say they're not happy with what they've seen from their edge rushers. Well, guess what? The Eagles could easily go out and maybe go out and get a guy like a Judon or something at that point. They can definitely do that then. Maybe they don't like what they're getting from Reed Blankenship, and I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe they feel like they can get an upgrade. You could go out and sign Simmons. The Eagles have the luxury of being able to sit back and look at what they got from a team-wise and then say, all right, well, this is what we're looking like here, or we've had an injury here. Now we go make the move. And what you're going to see is this team go into go into training camp, go to preseason. I will tell you this is what's going to happen. You are going to get reports, and we're going to be talking about it on my channel. There will be reports. There will be things from, the beat writers. James Bradberry looks great. James Bradberry looks fantastic. Did you see James Bradberry at practice today? An interception. Bradberry. And then the coaches are going to get up there in the press conference. James Bradberry, he's looking like this. He looked fast. He looked sharp. He really came in shape. He's really dedicated. Man, James Bradberry is just killing it. Okay? And they're going to do this on purpose because their plan is going to be to raise his trade value and then move him. This is what they did with Zach Ertz a few years ago. If you guys remember, the year they traded Ertz, I forget how many weeks into the season, but they started at camp. oh, Zach Ertz looks like he's 26 years old. Zach Ertz looks great. Zach Ertz looks like he's got his legs under him. Zach Ertz is going to have a big year. And they built him up, and Zach Ertz just sat back quietly, did his thing, and then the Eagles were able to move him. I think you're going to see the same thing with James Bradberry. And in the meantime, while they're building up his value, they're going to figure out what positions we need to add depth to. I'm saying this, that edge rusher position still worries me. I want to see, and I don't know what Nolan Smith or these guys are going to do. We've got to see. But that position is a position I'm definitely waiting to see on. I think you could add depth to the safety position, but it depends on how you use Cooper DeJean. So we're just going to have to wait, and we're just going to have to see. But right now, getting ready to go into camp soon, the Eagles are sitting pretty. They're sitting very, very pretty. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision, baby. We're all just living in it. I was on Big Sil show. They were talking about Tee Higgins possibly going to the Dallas Cowboys. I had to laugh at that. There's no chance. The cheap-ass Dallas Cowboys are not going to trade for Tee Higgins. One, he's franchise tagged. They're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And they still got to resign CeeDee Lamb. How could you go and bring in another guy when you haven't even taken care of your own house yet? You got to take care of your house. So I don't know where these Tee Higgins rumors, Tee Higgins to the Cowboys, I don't know where that came up. I have no idea, but I'm not buying it 1 second. Tee Higgins will not be a Dallas Cowboy because the Cowboys are too cheap. They got to sign their own players. And when I say cheap, Cowboy fans go, oh, CeeDee Lamb's going to be the highest paid receiver. And then, oh, Micah Parsons going to be the highest paid defensive player. And then Dak Prescott, one of the highest paid quarterbacks. Yeah, but you're missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're so cheap and they're so stingy that they wait till the last second to sign these guys. And then you have to pay more money instead of taking care of business like the Eagles, in which gives you options. So you think the Dallas Cowboys, with not having signed all these players, are going to all of a sudden go out there and bring in Tee Higgins? Not a chance in hell. Denzel Washington out.
Hi, Michael Anthony Fitness here, MAF.
That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.